Hey folks, Craig Danger, Vinyl Record Player. Back again, and unfortunately it seems like these things seem to come in threes. Obviously, Thursday last week we lost legend Jerry Butler. On Friday we then lost February the 21st. We then lost Gwen McCrae. And today, Monday, February 24th, we lose, unfortunately, Roberta Flack. So I just thought I'd do another tribute video here. Obviously, if you're a watcher of the channel, you know that I talk about Roberta Flack actually quite a bit. She was really kind of somebody who I picked up on really late, but I've been kind of collecting her records basically since I first heard this one, which I just kind of bought on a whim. This, of course, is her first album. Roberta, of course, born on February 10th, 1937 in Black Mountain, North Carolina. Roberta grew up in Arlington, Virginia. Obviously, she was in a very musical family. Discovered today, actually, that she went to Howard University on a classical piano ticket, basically. She got a scholarship. She was so good with playing the piano and very classically trained that she basically, ended up kind of getting her education paid for. Much like Bill Withers, she actually did not get very much in the way of early success. It wasn't until she started playing out in clubs in the Washington, D.C. area. Jazz pioneer Les McCann actually spotted her and kind of discovered her, and that would of course lead up to First Take from 1969. I have said this before, that this is one of that side B on this record, which of course includes Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye, the Leonard Cohen jam, and then of course The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. I've said that side B, one of the best sides ever released. But you know what? That really doesn't really speak very much to the record in general, which starts out with Eugene McDaniel's Compared to What, also actually recorded by Eddie Harris and Les McCann on a fantastic record from '69. But with this record, an absolute classic record, and you know what? This is very available. I have about 3 or 4 copies of this record because whenever I see it, it's always in beautiful condition, rarely played, and you know what? Often under $5. But this is, of course, her first album, First Take. The song, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, actually did nothing at the time. It wasn't until 1971, which would be a full 2 years after this, that song was included in a Clint Eastwood movie called Play Misty For Me. And from there, it all started to roll for Roberta, even though she had, of course, this record, a definite classic record, and then I think probably my favorite, which is Chapter 2. This one is just chock full of goodness. Of course, you have Reverend Lee, also Just Like a Woman. What a phenomenal version. But for me, the big one on this one is Do What You Want to Do, also recorded by Motown backup group legends Sisters Love, for a fantastic version. But this one is absolutely melancholic and just a beautiful, beautiful version. I've said on this channel many a time, and I truly believe it, that really Roberta Flack is and was, in fact, one of the best song interpreters of the 1970s, and her first 4 to 5 albums, just absolute classics. This one, again, is my favorite. After that, she would come out with Quiet Fire, and keep in mind that, at this point, no one really knew who Roberta Flack was. It wasn't until probably, I guess, just before this was released that she got big with the Ewan MacColl song, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. What happens after that is basically this album proceeds to sell like hotcakes, probably goes platinum, double platinum in the ensuing time period. She also releases Quiet Fire. This is also a phenomenal record. Again, very available. One of the surprising things is that if you go into any used record store, you're going to find a Roberta Flack record. That could change, as we know, when artists do pass on. They basically, their records tend to go up in price, but I'm telling you, easy to find. Quiet Fire as well, and also a really, really great record. Very, very acoustic sounding, a lot of piano on it. And then, of course, she ends up doing a duet record with Donny Hathaway, and this is it, Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. Beautiful picture of them in the middle. Obviously, Donny Hathaway would pass in '78, unfortunately, of suicide, while him and Roberta were working on basically the follow-up to this particular album. But this album was good. The big hit on this one was Where Is the Love? But again, this is also a very available record, and also, again, very quality. Of course, Roberta had met Donny Hathaway whilst at Howard University. They sort of became friends after that, and basically were musical partners for a good portion of the 70s. And then, of course, who can forget Killing Me Softly, this album. And, you know, by the way, how cool is this? It has the piano that folds out, and then, we got Roberta. We got Roberta in the middle. Kind of a really cool package. And then, of course, her on the back of Roberta Flack. Again, also known apparently as one of John Lennon's most famous neighbors, as they both lived in the Dakota in New York City in Manhattan. And as a matter of fact, apparently she just moved out of the Dakota in 2015, sold it in 2018. I believe those dates are correct. Doesn't matter. What does matter is the music, and like I say, this album, I just listened to this one today. Basically almost everything from Roberta, and let's not forget that Roberta had a very long career where she was recording albums into the 2000s. But if you are a buyer of vinyl or a listener of records, I can tell you that definitely her first 5-6 albums are her at her absolute best. And very acoustic sounding. The production, very sort of light touch to it, which really kind of lends a lot of, I believe, sort of nuance to her piano playing, which again is absolutely fantastic. So Killing Me Softly. I do not have, of course, her 1975 album, which of course is Feel Like Making Love. Feel Like Making Love would be her last really big hit of the 1970s, but of course she would continue through the 80s. Have a hit with Peabo Bryson, and of course a couple of hits, I believe one more hit in the 90s. Her style is one that's very subtle, but again, full of emotion, and really a phenomenal singer. And then of course I also have, she did in around 75 take a little bit of a hiatus, a couple of years off, and basically the momentum that she sort of built up in the early 70s kind of never really came back. Like I say, she did have some hits from time to time. And of course, she did release Blue Lights in the Basement, which I believe this is 77 or 78. This album, you can tell times have changed, production style has changed. And again, there's not as much of that acoustic piano flavor that is, again, on some of those early records. But you know what? Roberta, wow, what a legend. And the fact that she lived until 88, again, I mean, obviously she had a very long life. I just recently, a couple of months ago, was on the Instagram, and I know it probably was not her, but you know, I had commented, and she had replied back about the fact that I had talked about the first time ever I saw your face, and most importantly, also, Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye, the Leonard Cohen song, which again I believe is by far her best performance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a top 10 songs playlist underneath this video, so please check that out. I've noticed the New York Times is already putting out playlists, and they're also everyone's heard those songs. So if you kind of want to hear, I guess, some of the deeper cuts that Roberta Flack recorded, certainly on these initial 5 to 6 albums, then you'll definitely want to tune in. But again, just wanted to give a tribute and much love to Roberta Flack, born February 10th, 1937, and passed just today, February 24th, 2025. Rest in peace and rest in power, Roberta Flack.